Last night I attended WWE for the first time. I'm going to give you my honest reaction to the experience. Also, Emmett versus Topuria. We'll get to that prediction today. That's the next big main event, UFC Jacksonville, just around the corner. And other UFC news like Charles Oliveira. We'll get into all these topics and more next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the Community MMA with your host, Chris Cross.
Unbelievable, bro. Welcome to the Community MMA. It's your boy, Chris Cross, checking in a little bit earlier in the week than normal. And that's because we attended WWE last night, and I just want to go through that experience with you. I don't think I've attended a WWE before. I mean, I was a fan back in the day. WWF, right? Ultimate Warrior, Randy Macho Man Savage, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm talking about. Those were the days when I was a fan. Ultimate Warrior was always my favorite. So it's been a long time since I really watched wrestling, right? It's no longer WWF. Obviously, it's now WWE. So came to town last night. We went. And I have to say, it was a positive experience, man. You hear all these things about WWE struggling, and they're now with the UFC under endeavor, and, to me, it's all positive. Like, it's only going to get better for both companies. And you see the line. I mean, I don't know if you can see there, but way ahead, you see the line is thick with people. You have to wait a long time to get in. And then when you get into the arena, it's packed, man. It's packed. And the WWE does a good job with the entertainment, with the videos, with the sound, with the announcer. The fights are incredible. I mean, there's your boy, the big bald head, chilling. And look, I'm smiling like a kid. I'm having a good time. There's the fam. They're catching some of the fight. They're having a good time. And you see behind those two, all the people. I mean, it's packed. And it's that way right from the beginning, before it even starts. So all in all, like, a really, really good experience. I think the future for WWE and the UFC is big. I mean, it's only going to get bigger over time. It just seems like they have everything on point with the entertainment. They're all under one big group of endeavor. And I don't know. After going last night, forget what I hear from other people that WWE is struggling and this. It didn't seem like that to me. And it's Father's Day. You had Rey Mysterio taking on his son, Dominic Mysterio. That was a great fight. You had the heavyweight champion there. That was exciting. So, also a tag team championship. Big fan of the Usos. So maybe I'll start watching again. And even though I know it's fake and not real, it's choreographed, it's entertainment. I think we all know that. And it's still really exciting. And to those of you that have been to a UFC event before, take my hat off to you, because as you're watching this WWE and you're like, okay, this is choreographed, this is entertainment. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to watch a real fight take place, and maybe a TKO or a submission, or even just a 3-round great fight. And to see that in person and know that's not choreographed, that's real, is just wild. I mean, that's wild. So good experience last night at WWE. And, every fight you just hear the same thing. 2, 3, ding, 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 ding. And everybody gets pumped up, good times. Unbelievable, bro. And that's what I kept thinking throughout the night. Now, as we move forward this week in the UFC, you got a big main event showdown between Josh Emmett and Ilia Topuria, right? Two guys in the top 10, one in the top 5. Big, Topuria's undefeated. I mean, that's going to be a big-time fight. Absolutely a big-time fight. But which way will we go? I mean, Topuria recently made the dude list. I think he's number 20. So it doesn't mean I have to go with him, but he creeped into the dude list. So check this prediction out. In the featherweight division at UFC Jacksonville, you got Josh Emmett coming in at 18-3, taking on the undefeated 13-0 Ilia Topuria. This is going to be a great fight. Now, Topuria 1 inch taller at 5'7". He's 12 years younger. He's only 26, taking on the 38-year-old Josh Emmett. Both guys stand right-handed. Emmett's more active, 4.2 significant strikes per minute to 3.3 for Topuria. But Topuria lands nearly a takedown a round, where Emmett lands like 1 over the course of 3 rounds. Emmett's got a 58% takedown defense. That will not be helpful here. He lost to Yair Rodriguez, a very good fighter. Guy fighting for the belt next. In the second round via submission, but he did beat Calvin Kattar, Dan Ige, Shane Burgos, Mirsad Bektik, and Michael Johnson. So, he's been on a run as of late, but lost a tough one to a really good fighter. Topuria, 92% takedown defense, so he's defending all takedowns. He hasn't lost yet in the UFC. He's 5-0, beating the likes of Ryan Hall, Jai Herbert by KO, Bryce Mitchell. Think about that, Bryce Mitchell by second round submission. So, and that put him on our dude list. So he's one of my dudes. So, I can't go against him. Guy's undefeated. Ilia Topuria is on the rise. The only thing that worries me here is that he's 26. He's still young. And sometimes, you saw this in the previous main event where you had the 29-year-old Vettori taking on the 39-year-old Cannonier. And we thought Vettori would win. But the age difference is a factor. Even though Emmett is older, he's has a lot of experience in the octagon. But not too much, just 21 fights. So, we're taking a chance here, but not a big chance. I think Ilia Topuria wins this fight regardless, but it likely goes to a decision unless he can get the submission, where Josh Emmett doesn't have great takedown defense, but Ilia Topuria wins. Featherweight division main event, UFC Jacksonville. Yeah, so we'll take Topuria. Got to, man. I mean, Josh Emmett's really good too, and he could very easily rebound with a win, but Topuria just seems like, to me, a guy that is going to continue to dominate. 14-0, I believe what's going to happen. The win streak in the main event got broke last week, so we need a win here, and I'm very confident that Topuria will get that done and get us to 16-5 on the year. 15-5 right now. Co-main event, another big one. I mean, sometimes we, and I say we, not necessarily me, because I'm into all these fights, but we as a community look past the women's fights. But this is going to be a good one, man. Amanda Ribas versus Macy Barber, co-main event. Check this out. In the women's flyweight division co-main event at UFC Jacksonville, you got Amanda Ribas taking on Macy Barber. This is going to be an interesting fight. Two really good fighters. The Brazilian is 11-3. The American Barber is 12-2. Unbelievable. Barber 5'5", 2 inches taller. She's 25. Ribas is 29. Now, Ribas has a 1-inch reach advantage, 66-65. She fights right-handed. Barber is a switch stance fighter. Ribas, 4.8 significant strikes per minute to 4.3 for Barber. And Ribas lands 2 takedowns over the course of 3 rounds, where Barber lands just 1. So both areas favor Amanda Ribas, coming off the win over Vivian Araujo. She also beat Verna Jandiroba, a really good fighter, but lost by split decision to Caitlin Chukagian. Very good fighter too. Now the future Macy Barber, 47% takedown defense. That's going to be a problem. But wins, right? Beat Andrea Lee. Gave up 5 takedowns, won by split decision. Jessica Ai, decision. Montana De La Rosa, decision. Miranda Maverick, split decision. But Amanda Ribas is on a different level. And as much as I'd like to see Macy Barber win, probably be rooting for her against a prediction, but Amanda Ribas is just too good everywhere. The Brazilian should win this fight by decision, in my opinion, on significant strikes, on takedowns. Macy Barber's takedown defense is weak, But, what does worry me about the prediction is the same thing with Andrea Lee, giving up 5 takedowns, but had 2. Won't have that against Amanda Ribas, right? So against Andrea Lee, 2 takedowns versus 5, but led in significant strikes, snuck out a decision. Won't happen this time. Ribas wins 2 out of 3 rounds to take this thing in all areas to move to 12-3, women's flyweight division, UFC Jacksonville. All right, so we're rolling with Ribas and Ilia Topuria, and now we got to stick with them. And those are just 2 good main event and co-main event fights for UFC Jacksonville. And it's exciting that the UFC is returning to Jacksonville, the first place that they fought. Remember after that long break when it looked like no sports are going to be played, the UFC comes back, Florida opens the door, and they go to Jacksonville. And what a night that was. So it's just nice that they get to go back. The UFC gets to go back to Jacksonville, who's really going to enjoy this card, especially with Emmett and Topuria at the top. Now, our favorite fight of the night. I mean, really, Emmett and Topuria is probably the favorite. But we're going to cover the main event and co-main every week. But other than that, the best fight, we got to skip down to fight 5. Brendan Allen versus Bruno Silva in a middleweight battle. This is going to be unbelievable, and had a hard time making this prediction. In the middleweight division at UFC Jacksonville, got Brendan Allen, 21-5, the American, taking on the Brazilian Bruno Silva, who comes in at 23-8. So 2 really good fighters. Now Allen stands 2 inches taller at 6'2". He's 27, Silva 33. So both guys kind of either in their prime or entering their prime. Brendan Allen has a 1-inch reach advantage, 75-74. They're both right-handed. Now, advantage Silva in terms of activity, 4.5 significant strikes at 3.9 for Allen, but that's only a difference of like 10, maybe 9 over the course of 3 rounds, so it's close there. Brendan Allen has the advantage in the takedowns, just 1 over the course of 3 rounds. Silva wants to keep the fight standing. Brendan Allen, 55% takedown defense, but he's coming off 4 straight wins over Jacob Malkoun, Sam Alvey, Christoph Jocko, submission. Andre Muniz, submission. He's won 3 of the last 4 by submission. Now, Bruno Silva, 71% takedown defense. He's going to need all of that in this one. He KO'd Brad Tavares, but lost to Gerald Meerschaert by submission and Alex Pereira by decision, which that wasn't a bad decision. He looked great in that fight, which confuses this fight even more. I mean, Bruno Silva's going to fight well. It's not going to be an easy out, but I like the takedown game and submission ability of Brendan Allen. And Bruno Silva, despite fighting well against Alex Pereira, was submitted by Gerald Meerschaert. Really got to look at that one. So I like Brendan Allen to beat Bruno Silva. He's better than Gerald Meerschaert on the ground. Hopefully he'll get the job done, hopefully by submission, but at worst 2 rounds to 1 by decision. Brendan Allen wins to move to 22-6 middleweight division, UFC Jacksonville. So, I'm sitting there watching. I could have swore we took Bruno Silva, but we took Brendan Allen. That's how close the prediction was. We're ready to come back and talk to you about why Bruno Silva's going to win, and instead we got Brendan Allen, and that's cool too. It's just going to be a good fight. A big middleweight fight. I like when they put these good fights as the first fight in the main event. For sure. Makes it interesting. But Brendan Allen will beat Bruno Silva. That's my prediction. Bank on it. In other news, they're saying Charles Oliveira might be the leading candidate to face McGregor in his return as Michael Chandler fades to the rear. And he's fading because McGregor's getting dominated on the show. He's already down 3-0, and I mean, it's going to be a miracle really for them to win one. What if McGregor gets swept 8-0 in the quarterfinals and he's basically out of the show? His team's gone. He has no more he can't represent anyone that doesn't get to the second round. And that could very easily happen, which is why McGregor is eventually going to get frustrated on The Ultimate Fighter. Mark my words. But that's the way it goes down. We really wanted to get to you early to get these predictions, talk to you about the WWE Experience. Just a fun time, man. Yeah, and it's fun to hear everyone have fun, man. And today's my birthday, so I'm getting a year older. Acted like a kid yesterday. I'm worn out today. So it is what it is. But for now, this is your boy Chris Cross. This is the Community MMA. Peace.